This episode of Polk Waste Wise is taking it out curbside to show you how to properly dispose of your bulk and yard waste come October 2nd. Stay tuned, this is Polk Waste Wise. Beginning on October 2nd, residents of unincorporated Polk County will notice improvements in their waste and recycling services. Polk County Waste and Recycling values their customers and they are committed to making these transitions as seamless as possible. Find out how right here. You're watching Polk Waste Wise. Welcome to Polk Waste Wise, the show where we bring you up to date on all things related to your Polk County waste and recycling services. I'm your host, Dion Spires. Last month we had Ana Wood, Jennifer Hayes, and Stacy Spivey from Polk County Waste and Recycling on the show to talk about the changes that are coming up with your Polk County waste and recycling services. Today we're diving into some more in-depth details on the topics, just as we will from here on out. Every month we'll be tackling a different subject. Today's subject is bulk waste and yard waste. And here with me today, curbside, we have Ana Wood from Polk County Waste and Recycling.
Hello.
Welcome back, Ana.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Of course. Thank you for being here. So we all throw away trash all the time, and a lot of us put out recycling on a weekly basis, but two topics that people may not know that much about are bulk waste and yard waste, and what to do with them, and how much they can put out, and what qualifies. So let's start out with talking about bulk waste. Can you start out by giving the viewers a clear idea of what bulk waste is, what qualifies as bulk waste here in Polk County?
Bulk waste is items or are items that cannot fit in your 95-gallon garbage cart. So anything that doesn't fit inside the cart will be considered bulk waste. And some examples will be couches, chairs, furniture, many types of furniture, a TV set, a large TV set. So all those items will be considered bulk waste. And under the new contract that will start October 2nd of 2017, residents will have the opportunity to place two items in front of the curb for the new hauler to collect that waste, the bulk waste.
Now, how often are people allowed to put out those two items? Is it regularly, or is it a certain amount of times a year? How does that work?
The residents have the opportunity to utilize this service 52 weeks of the year.
Okay.
The difference is that the bulk items will be collected within 72 hours of either the driver visually seeing the bulk items placed at the curb, by the resident calling us if they would like to call us, or by some neighbors calling in too and saying, we noted that our neighbor put some, bulk items and they need to be collected. So we have left the reporting very flexible, with the responsibility mainly on the hauler, since they will be driving in front of your house 3 times a week, collecting the other materials. That's what we envision with that.
You said that you can have 2 items out. You mentioned a lot of different types of items. Is there a limit on how large an item can be, or is there ever a bulk item that's too big?
Well, it's not that it's too big, but you need to think in terms of what is residential. Obviously, if somebody has a hot tub in the backyard and is very large, that item probably will not even be suitable for the truck to collect.
Right.
So you need to think in terms of what is manageable, what is considered a residential bulk item that is commonly seen and utilized in a house.
Absolutely. So you want to make sure it's something that is manageable to get away.
Yes, something is commonly used, an item, couch, a mattress, a chair, things that are commonly used in residences.
Now, in addition to the bulk waste services, you guys also have your yard waste services that will see some changes come October 2nd once that new contract starts. Obviously, Polk County will continue to do their weekly yard service to the residents, but tell me about some of the regulations and the guidelines that will come October 2nd.
Yes, and it's not so much regulation and rules as more clarification.
Okay.
So we can meet the expectation of our residents. For instance, yard waste continues to be unlimited, and the requirements are that they need to be contained either in a bag or in a garbage cart, and we also have limitations on the diameter of the yard waste that you will put out, and the maximum width of the of the yard waste, if you're cutting a tree or trimming, will be, it cannot exceed 6 feet of length.
Okay.
And then you have the 6-inch in diameter. So typically this is what the residents may be able, the maximum a resident can put out on a weekly basis. Typically we don't expect this every week, but sometimes maybe twice a year a resident wants to trim a little bit more than what we call like the haircut analogy. Is something, the services that our residents are paying for are for routine yard waste, and that is typically something that it will be just trim. We're trimming a tree, the bushes is not intended to remove a tree or to do severe haircuts, so to speak, in a tree. So if it's gonna grow again, and you trimming is fine. If something is going to be removed and it's not going to grow again, then that is not part of the service that we provide. And the reason for that is, unlike your general taxes that you pay on a yearly basis, although our services are embedded into the tax bill as a non-ad valorem assessment, it is actually users' fees, and we actually look at the average generation of yard waste in the county. We divide that by the customer base, and that's what we pay. And right now residents are pay $5.76 per year for the disposal of yard waste. That equates to 500 pounds per year. Wow. So when you have that amount, you can visualize, if you put in yard waste every week, you pretty much putting around 10 pounds per week. And if you use a container, like a 33-gallon container, that will weigh up to 12 pounds if it's dry yard waste, like leaves. So that gives the residents an idea of the level of services that they're paying for and what the expectation is, not from the county standpoint so much, but for the residents, so we can meet the expectation.
Yes, absolutely. So we've got some bulk and yard waste here, and I know that there are some expectations as to where it should be set out and what the regulations are on that. So tell me, what is the expectation for the distance from the mailbox and the curb and all of that?
Well, the distance from the mailbox is 3 feet away from not only the mailbox, but any other objects. For this type of service level, the yard waste and the bulk, because they are manually collected, typically we don't use a mechanical arm.
Right.
You can arrange your items the way you see it here. We always recommend stay away 3 feet away from any object, either permanent object or any other object. So if you are going to place your garbage cart and your recycling cart come October 2nd, 2017, we recommend that you will allow the same spacing in between carts. So when the mechanical arm comes and to unload the material, they will have sufficient space.
Now I want to ask too, because I'm sure this is going to be a question from the residents, when can they expect their yard and bulk waste? Is it on the same day as their garbage and recycling, or will this be a separate collection day altogether?
The yard waste is a weekly service. So you will place your yard waste alongside with, when your regular service day is, and it will be collected automatically. Bulk items, on the other hand, they have the 72-hour window. So like I explained before, our expectation is that the new haulers will be collecting bulk items less than the 72 hours, because one of the main objectives of the Borough County Commissioners is to have clean communities. And the way that we can have clean communities is, one, to minimize the amount of bulk waste that is put at the curb at the time of service. So in this case, we have 2 items in front of us. These items will be collected within 72-hour period. The resident can put another item, other 2 items if they wish after that, and it will take again 72 hours. But be mindful that if you put in bulk items in between services, if your service day is a Monday, for instance, the drivers will come in to collect your other services. On Tuesday, if you put it on Tuesday, no one is going to be driving by your house to know the bulk waste. At that point, we would like the resident to call us in, because we will not have a vendor going in front of your house to service you.
Right.
So because then the next scheduled service day will be the following Monday. And by then, your bulk waste will be sitting for over a week.
So is there anything else that we haven't touched on that you feel the residents need to know about bulk and yard waste before we take a break?
to reemphasize the 3 feet away from the items, any fixed items, stationary items, to ensure that you want the understanding of the yard waste. What are we charging the residents for, and the limitations when it comes to the diameter of 6 inch and the 6 feet in length, the yard waste. And I believe that with this understanding, our residents will be satisfied with the new contract. We will be very satisfied that we're meeting your needs, and we will have clean communities at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Well, Ana, thank you so much for diving into more detail on that topic. It'll be vital to providing a smooth transition come October 2nd, for sure.
Well, thank you so much, Dion. I do appreciate the opportunity to share the news with our residents.
Of course. That's all the time we have for this month, but please send your questions in to Polk Waste Wise at polk-county.net. If you'd like to catch this information again, you can catch it on PGTV on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 1:30 and 7:30 a.m. and p.m. or on our Polk Government YouTube channel. For all things Polk County Waste and Recycling, visit www.polkwastewise.net. Tune in next month because we'll be recapping your recycling procedures come October 2nd and how to most effectively use your new recycle carts. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.